till 3, sharing old stories, just them and me. The world's fast asleep, but we're wide awake, sipping on coffee, no plans to break. Time fades away as the night drifts on, lost in the laughter, the dark nearly gone. No need for answers, no reason why, just two souls awake beneath the sky. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. So here's to late nights, the quiet and deep, with a friend by your side when you should be asleep. In the calm of the night, life feels bright, ending or starting, we're feeling just right. Time fades away as the night drifts on, lost in the laughter, the dark nearly gone. No need for answers, no reason why, just two souls awake beneath the sky. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. These quiet chats, yeah, they're the best, yeah, they're the best. These quiet chats, yeah, they're the best, the quiet and deep best.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, it's Monday, 25. And welcome to Baker at Night, where we talk about everything and nothing. And I sleep sometimes, I know, with my grumpiness, you shouldn't think. But how amazing it was to wake up to a motion to limit the scope of questioning of Lally. We'll get back to that. Hey, T-Rex. Am I ready for former disgraced trooper tomorrow? He is not formally disgraced. He's still disgraced. Yeah, let's start out with Michael Proctor, former trooper, now fired because he is a disgrace, like every other person in the MSP, more or less. Donna Adelson was offered a plea deal today of time served and declined it. It wasn't today, as far as I read the offer of a plea or what her attorney have said. It's at some point, but yeah, give us Wendy and you go free is what she was given, and she said, absolutely no, thank you. Well, Tall Red, welcome to the channel. Stay away from chat. No, not chat. Stay away from Zach in chat. The rest of them are okay. Hey, Cribble. Let's go. They're broken. I definitely listen to Baker at work. Well, I'll try and make it a little entertaining for the next hour. This has been a day. It has been a... I went to IKEA. That was the worst part of the day. True Crime Grammy. Augusta. Yes, do that. Yep, Lally doesn't want to testify. No, and the reason they state to limit his scope seems odd to me. Again, not a lawyer, just a reader. Hello. Pooper Tractor. And Lally gagging. Donna Mama isn't going home. No, she's probably not going home. Especially if they, as alleged, offered her a plea deal saying, give us your daughter and we'll let you go. Probably not the best way to do it. Hey, Alita, how are you doing? 007. I don't believe that you sleep. I do believe that you are Danish, 1000% not Swedish. Santa Claus, remind chat, don't walk across the frozen ice. Yes, we will be very suspicious of you if you go on the ice. And yes, Santa Claus is Danish because he lives at the North Pole, which is beneath Greenland, and we own Greenland. So that's proof that even though it's based on a Turkish saint called Saint Nicholas, he's really Danish because all the best things in the world is from Denmark. Just look at Jen McCabe and the Ozempic she's on. Who invented it? Denmark. Novo Nordisk. I don't know why I'm one of the channels who's been struck by this. It's annoying as hell. I think they have the right person, Donna. I think so too. I'm on the other side of the planet. So, no. Geography by the expert. It's the middle of the night, Baker. No, it's not. It's your afternoon. You'd just be happy that I stream at a time that's convenient for you for once. Canada is under the North Pole. Does that make him Canadian too? No. The North Pole, the geographic North Pole is more towards Greenland than Canada. So, of course, he is Danish. Going to Sweden in early December. Is there anywhere in Sweden that time of year I can see snow? I'm 47 and I've never seen snow. Just go. If you're going to Sweden, you're most likely going to go to either Stockholm or Malmö. Go north of that and you'll most likely see snow. Yeah, I just woke up and do my Baker at Night streams this time. Yes, the geographic North Pole is always moving. I made your childhood better because you found out Santa is Danish. The best people in the world are Danish. That's just a fact. You want to see Ireland? Never been there. The Emerald Isles. Heard they're a pretty place. But why go to Sweden? Yeah. Hamlet is also from Denmark, and right outside of his castle, there's a really amazing nautical museum. Good evening. The best rolls too. Well, in Denmark, we don't call them Danish. We call them Vienna bread. Oh. Well, I don't like that you have ruined Danishes by putting cheese in them. But did you all see? Well, you didn't see because you weren't allowed to stream the Proctor hearing today. But the fallout from the Proctor hearing, that he has two prongs to his why I shouldn't have been fired just because I'm a shitty detective. One of them, well, I really didn't do what they claim. The other one, well, other people has been just as bad as me. They were asking for over 200 disciplinary cases so they could review them and point out that, hey, yeah, our guy sent these horrible text messages and never really looked into any clue other than do this and say, I can see Karen Reed. And now he want to claim that he shouldn't have been fired. I love when stupid people fight for rights. And I can understand it because a cushy government job with a great pension, who wouldn't fight for that one? But they just have to take out the piece of paper he was fired on. Well, it clearly stated that his misconduct got him fired. That he didn't meet the criteria. I really don't understand that, but I don't understand a lot of things in Massachusetts. Aren't those private though? Well, they are, and that's why you're not allowed to record it, and you are not allowed to make transcripts of it. So if you are allowed to, what would you call it, live transcribe and interpret what is said in court. So instead of saying, Michael Proctor said, "Good morning, Your Honor, I'm glad to be here." Are you then allowed to say, Michael Proctor greeted the judge? Or is that a violation of the rules? I don't know. I don't understand how you can even have public access to a workers' dispute. You wouldn't have that in Denmark because the union would have said, what? This isn't, this is something that was put in place to secure the workers' rights. So you don't have a public access. It's not like he's going to court in front of a judge and it's just a public courtroom. This is a person who is called in to discuss why he feels like his firing was unjust. So how that can be open, I have a hard time getting my head around that one. I can only say it wouldn't happen in Denmark. We have way too powerful unions, and I thought that the unions in America was pretty strong as well, especially for the public workers. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I don't know how much. I know a lot of people were, oh, she's going to be a millionaire when she's done. I don't see much of a case for her. She can't sue the judge. She can't sue Adam Lally. She can't sue the state for prosecuting her because they had a grand jury who said, well, we believe there's enough evidence there. So I don't think she's going to go along. She might be able to sue. She can't sue the Alberts. She can't sue the O'Keefes. She can't sue Carrie Robert. I have a hard time seeing what she's going to sue about. And a lot of people might not have thought it through when they thought, oh, she's going to own Massachusetts when she's done. Because there's so many barriers for you to recoup your money when the state has made a case. Because the state didn't. It's on the face of it, it's an okay case to run because they claim they had enough evidence. They presented it to a grand jury. The grand jury, who does this every time they have evidence presented, said, yes, there is a case. So I have a hard time seeing how she can sue the DA's office or the court or the state. Probably could sue Michael Proctor for releasing her personal information. But other than that, I don't think she's going to win a ton of cases. There might be parts of it, but I think a lot of people, because they are new to legalese, think that, oh, she's going to win $1 billion. There's some prongs that she can attack, but there's also a lot of safeguards to protect the state against legal matters. That is a union strategy of past practice. So-and-so did this and they weren't fired. It's a comparable to offering past cases a reason to allow in motion in court. Yes, I know, but they want to go through, I think, 260 or 216 other cases claiming, yeah, they're shit cops too. Really makes a good, strong argument about how the Massachusetts State Police is such a great place. Yeah, I know that she did that, and I'm just worried that, but she's a lawyer. She knows all the pitfalls because there is a clear warning that you weren't allowed to make transcripts of it. So could they potentially come after her? I don't know. I think it's BS. If it's public, it's public. You can't say, well, it's only public for the people who are here today. So I'm just worried because they seem to have really upped the, oh, we don't like people streaming our shitty courtrooms. So, but she's a lawyer. She probably have all of that figured out. I just go by YouTube things, and I have seen both things where they will demand you take your stream down. She's not, as I understand it, living in Massachusetts, so the Massachusetts courts really don't have jurisdiction over her. I could potentially have done it because how are they gonna hit me? I don't live in Massachusetts. They have no jurisdiction over me. Then they will have to ban the stream for everyone, and no one could listen to it. But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I understand Melanie is not being able to do it as it's from Massachusetts. The likelihood of anyone outside Massachusetts facing repercussions are very low, and I'd like to see them try it. Thank you, T-Rex, for making my point right after. I should have read you super first, but thank you so much. But yeah, we saw that in the what case was it? Was it murder or was it Depp? We heard where they started saying we're gonna do stuff to you if you don't, and they don't have the legal rights. I've seen judges threaten YouTube streamers, and those streamers say, "F off, you have no jurisdiction over me. I'm not in your state, so I don't understand the repercussion in a more private matter." Again, if you make it public, you make it public. If you make it public under the clear rule that this is not to be transcribed or recorded, yeah, then you enter in some form of contract. It's not like a live court feed, but at the same time, I've seen journalists report on it as well. They just don't play clips from it. So I don't think it's a problem. But Mike got his channel taken down. The other, not his channel, but his stream taken down, and the rest of us wasn't allowed to come into the room. I don't think the Commonwealth has immunity over corruption. What corruption can you prove? Corruption is someone paying someone to get something for it, or you need a quid pro quo to have corruption. I haven't heard anyone from Karen Reed's team say Bev was bought or Adam Lally was given a beach house to not look at the McAlberts. We can make all these postulations, but you'll still have to prove it in court. And I don't see a ton of, and there is so much to make sure judges and police officers don't get in trouble. I'm just saying I don't see billions in her future. I hope she'll recoup as much as she can, get her car back, get her phones back, get all of that back. But it's still in the court of Massachusetts. She's going to fight it. And if we learn anything, it's Massachusetts is a good old boys club. We're not talking about anything, and we are talking about everything. Britt, this is Baker at Night. No themes. We just pick up what I have thought about today. It's my way of unburdening myself. But we did talk a little bit about Proctor and his hearing today and how he claims that he shouldn't have been fired because other cops are shitty as well. Great defense. Well, Kiki, glad you're here. Altered videos, it's not a strong part of anything. Who altered the videos? We don't know. Was it presented to Lally and he believed it was true? I'm just saying the bar is probably way too high for most of those that people think she can sue them for. There will be tons of roadblocks on that road. But hey, I want to see what Alan Jackson files, because you can see where he's going to pinpoint, and he's way smarter than any of us who doesn't have the insight he does. Why should they get the luxury of not being shown in public? Because this has nothing to do with a legal matter. What was discussed today was a civic matter. It was a work-related issue. It was a union-based issue. Most people don't have a webcam running when they are talking to their boss either. Yes, 4th and 6 could be, you could talk about that, but she was also acquitted, and I think it's going to be, I know everyone really wants the upbeat pro Karen Reed side, and hey, I can do this. Hey, you all heard it? Alan Jackson just said today, Karen Reed is gonna sue the state of Massachusetts in the Supreme Court. It's gonna be legendary. We're gonna be here for every single part of it if it's televised, because that woman, she's gonna go bling, bling, bling. It's gonna rain cash from the taxpayers to Karen Reed, because, oh my God, that case had it all. They fudged the evidence. They lied to the court. Judge Bev was seriously on the take. Karen Reed is gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Just wait for it. It's gonna be so easy. She's gonna walk into court and the judge is throwing a bag of money at her. Boom. That's how it works. See you later, boys, because I'm gonna go party with Reed. That was what I was going to say if I wanted to make a 50,000 view video and mislead the audience. There's a lot of red tape to get through to win over a state. And do I think she has some standing in some of these things? Yes. Do I think people don't quite understand what it takes to win? Yes. And sadly, some people would rather sell you the good story instead of saying what it really is. It's going to be an uphill battle. He has a great team, smart lawyers, shitty opponents. I hope the best. But I'm not going to sell you the cat in the bag. I'm going to be honest as I see it. Can someone link the federal lawsuit in the Discord? I can't find it. I haven't seen it either. Haven't seen it anywhere either, but Alan Jackson apparently filed it today. So we'll have to read it. When we have read it, then maybe I'll do the, yes, sir, this is out of here. Or I'm going to say, well, looks really good. That's going to take some way to get across the immunity that's given to most of these people. But I see a case against the MSP. There's no case against Judge Bev Canoni. There's no case against Lally. There's no case against Brennan. Just telling you. Well, that is getting clipped. Love your impression of Plevin. Well, thank you, T-Rex. I always try to emulate Plevin when I can. Maybe I should go on and be like Grant. Grant today could disclose that federal witness clearly talked about Karen Reed when she was in court today, even though she never said that. But hey, why report the news when you can make the news? What time is it? It's just past 5 in the morning. Stop wrestling pigs. Go wrestle Valhalla. Wait, he filed it, but nobody has it yet. Well, it's at it's federal court. It's not Dedham court. Normally, when it's filed in back in the day when they filed in Cam Reed case, it'll take 1 to 3 days before we could pull it off the website. Normally, sometimes 5 to 7 days. This is federal. This is different. So I don't know when, if any, we can see it. Can I interview Plevin again? That was so epic. Now it's after the verdict would be live. I have asked him. Well, he blocked me on the Twitch thread, but I have put it in post he had responded to, because Marissa, who normally does my booking for me, she says she's going to quit if I force her to write Plevin. Yes, Grant smokes a lot of weed on his streams. That's why I put into when he was going after Mike the other day for restreaming illegally, that it would be a shame, and I don't condone this in any way, if someone would report Grant for smoking weed. Well, it's legal in Massachusetts. Funny. YouTube doesn't care about state law. They care about federal law. It's illegal to smoke weed in America. No, I can do it. Yeah, but it's illegal. It's against federal law to smoke weed in America. So TOS says you can't do drugs. I can drink on stream, but it could get me severely stricken on my ad revenue. Not that I make that much ad revenue anyway, but you're not allowed to portray drugs, drinks, and pew-pews in a positive manner on YouTube. So doing drugs while live, which is doing drugs, smoking weed, yeah, but it's illegal in California. Don't care. Federal law is against YouTube's TOS. I can't rob a bank either, because that's apparently illegal. That's frowned upon, at least. So you can't do crimes on YouTube, and smoking weed is a crime. So if Mike wanted to get back at him, yes, he could just he could report every stream he's smoking weed on, which is every stream, for drug use. You're not allowed to do it, because again, YouTube has to do with federal law. So you can't win a case by saying, but I'm in Massachusetts. Well, you stream to the world. It's not against the law. I hate watched Grant today for a while and read chats. Oh my God, just wow. Meds are needed. Everyone in the chat has a wrench, all 27 of them. I watched him yesterday. I can't watch him for more than a second because he's constantly doing this. I don't know what's wrong with the guy other than he was dropped on his head when he was a kid. And he's constantly talking about things that makes absolutely no sense. That this time Lindsay Kitani's phone that was leaked and you could see her birth picture, and that makes the feds come in because they really care about a skank who had a kid and her phone leaks. But she's a federal witness now, and I get exhausted. I have enough squirrels running around in my head, but having to watch Dr. Zoidberg, I can't do it. Yeah, it's legal in Massachusetts, but again, federal law. I should do HBO comedy. You have me pee in my pants when you get going. You're a brilliant humorist. I can't, because I can't do script. Baker v. Grant would be better than Baker v. Plevin. I don't think I could have a conversation with Grant. I know Tom sat down with him and had a cup of coffee and it went amicable, but Grant has no... Plevin is a liar. Plevin is the ultimate grifter. Plevin Plevin was pro Karen Reed, saw that Aiden was way too big for him to really make a mark. And it's as I always say, why be a small fish in a big pond when you could be a big fish in a small pond? So he thought, I'm going to go grift the other side. I'm going to be the only one because everyone knows it's a bogus charge. So I'm going to go sing for the retards. And hopefully they have money and they will pay me. And he did good. Plevin has more viewers than I have. When he was on my channel, I think he was bigger than me. I think I'm twice as big as him now. But he has more live viewers than I do. So measured by success, he's a bigger, better YouTuber than I am. And he was that because he was willing to do what I'm not willing to do. Do this to his audience and just lie. Because again, I could sell you, oh my God, Karen's going to be a millionaire. Which would land me a lot of pro Karen Reed people who says, yes, this guy understands it. But I have this weird thing, and that's why I didn't work in politics. I really don't like lying. And I'll point out if I think there's mistakes. Plevin had no moral qualms about lying to his audience about everything because he's a grifter. And you have to tip your hat to the griftiest grifter of all time because he made money on it. He didn't make a ton, but he did make money on lying about Karen Reed. He made way more money than he did by writing his stupid book. Can you play with ducks on YouTube? Maybe. How are you going to play it? Baker, have you seen the Austin Drummond case in Tennessee? He's still at large, but sounds interesting. The name says something. Or is that a former NBA player that was named Justin? Austin Drummond. Oh, well, that's way too new for me. This is an ongoing investigation where they haven't found him yet. I don't touch cases until they get close to going to court. So I know about it. It's in Tennessee, so maybe the expert is going to cover it. I don't know. Sought in the... A third person has been arrested on suspicion of helping a fugitive accused of unaliving 4 relatives of a Tennessee baby who was found abandoned alive last week. Meanwhile, authorities were scouring the wooded area near a private university in Jackson, Tennessee on Monday afternoon as part of the investigation into the suspect in the killings. 28-year-old Rustin Robert Duman, a law enforcement source familiar said. As for the latest arrest, Dara Sanders was taken into custody on warrants charging her with accessory after the fact to first-degree unaliving, accused of assisting Drummond after the unaliving of the baby's relatives. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said Sanders will be booked into Lake County, the TBI said, and it's unclear if she has obtained an attorney. Same charges last week, Tanika Brown and Giovanni Thomas. Brown is also tampered with evidence. Oh, the investigators believe Drummond has connection to the Vice Lord gang, and they suspect he may be getting help from its members, the law enforcement sources said. The Vice Lord is a gang whose members have been involved in unaliving, drugs, and other violent crimes. Prosecutions say the gang has members and offshore groups in Illinois and throughout Tennessee. Drummond remains on the lam, but they are investigating the case in a wooded area near Union University in Jackson. Yeah, so that case is way too young for me to really get onto it right now because they haven't even caught the guy. Joe Rogan smokes once in a while. Yeah, but get big enough. It's kind of like lending money from the bank. If you owe them 10,000, it's a you problem. If you owe them 10 million, it's a they problem. His chat is only no, but he mods everyone who goes in there. Well, he talks about it being weed, so it's not that hard. Just remember, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Well, I don't know how good American Apparel is because we can't buy it in Denmark. So I don't know why we are discussing that in Danish news, that American Apparel is great jeans. I, myself, is more a Duluth trading company or whatever the name is kind of guy. I was just reading about this case. I guess they caught this POS. No, according to 6 hours ago, they hadn't caught him. Is that anywhere near Val? I don't know where Jackson, Tennessee is. So I don't know. He also threatened to unalive jurors who sent him to jail when he got out. Oh, interesting. Arkansas case. What? Hey, Peaches. Who's Plevin? Plevin is Yellow Cottage Cheese, the biggest grifter on YouTube. So, yeah. But I don't know if you all have heard about this, but Mr. Adam Lally, who is about to take the stand in 10 hours to get continuously hammered by Rosemary Scapiccio for being a shitty ADA, has filed a motion to limit the scope of questioning of attorney under subpoena. Remember when we watched the first hearing? Adam Lally's lawyer asked the court if Adam Lally could be giving a statement instead of doing a hearing because he didn't want to be cross-examined by Rosemary Scapiccio. And the judge said, fuck off, get on the stand. But now he has filed a motion to try and limit the scope of this hearing because on May 28th, the defendant in this matter filed a motion to dismiss or, in the alternative, release on bail and continue the trial date given the voluminous late disclosed evidence. After this motion was filed, the parties jointly requested that the court continue the trial date and reduce the defendant's bail to $2,500 with conditions. After hearing, the court allowed the request for a continuance and set the bail for $10,000, which is cheap in a murder case. The defendant posted the cash bail on June 25th. So they got what they were asking for. So now Adam Lally shouldn't be questioned, right? Because they filed a motion to have him out on bail, and so everything should be fine. The court should suspend Lally's testimony unless and until the defense makes a preliminary showing as to all three required prongs required for dismissal. Egregious government misconduct. Well, that's why you're being testified, to find out if you not obtaining and providing exculpatory evidence is egregious government misconduct. Prejudice to the defendant's right to a fair trial. Well, if you don't turn over evidence, aren't you prejudiced against the defendant because you don't follow Rule 14 in Brady? As showing that dismissal is the only remedy for the prejudice. That could be another thing because the judge will just say, well, you have the evidence now, you have 2 months, let's continue. Recent procedural background. The hearing on the motion, now addressing only a motion to dismiss since the trial date was continued and the defendant was released on bail, was scheduled for July 21st. ADA Lally was issued a subpoena by defense to appear at that hearing in this matter. He appeared and began testifying over his attorney's objection. No, the judge ordered him. So it's not over his objection. You overrule. Shut up. At the hearing, the court directed counsel for the defendant and the Norfolk District Attorney's Office to work together to specifically identify the scope of discovery that was disclosed late to the defense. The court also directed counsel for the defendant to review the materials and to identify specifically any exculpatory evidence that was disclosed late to the defense. Lally testified, and the hearing was continued with the expectation that the parties would have narrowed the scope of the discovery at issue, and counsel for the defendant would have identified what she claimed to be exculpatory and prejudicial. Before Lally's testimony recommences in this matter, counsel for the defendant should comply with the court's directive and identify how the evidence at issue here is exculpatory and how the defendant has been prejudiced, particularly given that he has been released on bail and the trial has been continued. Without two of the requirements for dismissal under Commonwealth v. Trepania, the defendant's motion falls and testimony from Lally becomes unnecessary. Should the court still wish to hear from Lally, we, the undersigned counsel for him, respectfully suggest that his testimony should be strictly limited to the issue of whether his conduct constituted egregious misconduct, which, in light of the 26 notices of discovery providing unique discovery each time, certainly does not. Commonwealth v. Trepina issued that appeals court last Tuesday is on point and dispositive where the defense has not made a prima facie showing of the 3 points required for dismissal, and the court has already taken significant remedial action in this case. And then the appeals court had looked at it before, and because there was a new Rule 14 motion saying, hey, you need to turn over your shit, the Supreme Court just said, no, you really don't. Just do what you always did. We just tweak the language a little bit. So I don't think that's going to work. Where the defense has not made a preliminary showing as to all 3 components required under Commonwealth v. Trepania, the case cannot be dismissed. The remedy of dismissal is only warranted where there is egregious government misconduct, prejudice to the defendant's right to a fair trial, and a showing that dismissal is the only remedy for prejudice. In this case, should counsel for defendants fail to identify for the court how any of the documents at issue are exculpatory and therefore the late production prejudice his right to a fair trial, and where counsel for the defendant fail to show how dismissal is necessary to cure the prejudice, given that the trial date has been continued and the defendant is released on bail, the defendant's motion can be denied without further testimony from Lally. In any event, Lally's testimony should be strictly limited to the issues as egregious government misconduct. The court will learn that Lally was diligent, well-meaning, and that his conduct aimed to conform with his obligation as a prosector. What the hell is this name for an attorney's? His attorney's office is Butters Brazilian. Is this a South Park character getting a wax? Why is this the name of a law office in Boston? What? I find this a weird name for a law office. Yeah, someone was asking me, I know it's your 3rd language. Do you know prosector is wrong? Yeah, but Brandon didn't. So, yeah, I don't know why. He doesn't want to go through the motions. No, and again, they're having the hearing to establish if there was egregious mistakes made, if there's prejudice. But he doesn't believe that you need that hearing because you could just take it to trial and then prove it in trial that it didn't harm his or the Rosemary's client. What? Why do you want to push it to trial if there's no need to? She didn't have time to look at the evidence before the last hearing. There might be some of it that she changes her mind on. Now she has seen all of the evidence. There might also be more she want to ask. We already know that she still doesn't have the 6 search warrants she was asking about. And we know that Proctor only turned over partial parts of 2 of them, not all 6. Well, they were attached to another motion in Supreme Court. Well, you never turned over the originals. I've only been doing this for 25 years. I don't know my job. We know that his system never really caught on any of his mistakes that he was making. So how is that not egregious? And if he, as a prosector, is not making sure to dot all the I's and cross all the T's and turn over every piece of evidence, because it doesn't have to be evidence that will make the defendant walk. It has anything that potentially could make the defendant walk. So, and search warrants are basic Rule 14 material. You have to turn it over. You don't even have to discuss it. That's just something that goes right into the inbox of the defendant. So I just don't understand why he's out here. Why won't he testify? Again, whenever we have cases, we always say, well, I'm not sure I would let the defendant talk, because a lot of defendants talk their way into prison. But he's a diligent, well-meaning prosector. Why can't he go up there and just say, well, I did whatever I could. I checked all the boxes. I gave you all the information. Everything I received, I gave to you instantly. Why can't he just take the stand and say that? And then she can say, but we never got the 6 search warrants. Will Proctor never gave it to me. Is it your job to lit a fire under his ass? Yeah, but I don't want to. Okay, well, see you later. Well, it's Proctor's problem. Yeah, and I'm shitty DA. Yeah, well, there's a lot of them around. No. No negative reviews for Buttercup Brasili. I don't know what that is. Are the taxpayers paying for his lawyer? I don't think so. Well, maybe he has. No, it's his personal lawyer. Hey, it's Massachusetts. The taxpayers are paying for it in some way, but it's his personal lawyer. The 2 attorneys in charge are John H. Brazilian and Thomas J. Butters, 2 old white men, trial law and real estate law firm. No, it's not. Because the names who is Patrick Henley and Karen M. Wells. That's why I like, what the hell is this about? But that makes sense. Don't self-snitch. No, don't ever self-snitch. What was I was watching Recovery Addict yesterday, and he does these court roulettes when there's nothing really on, and just go into minor court. And someone was asking for a restraining order against their son's girlfriend, baby mama, something. First of all, she was an Indian woman who had her daughter translate for her, which shouldn't be allowed, because it's the daughter testifying or just translating. She was testifying. And then the other lady apparently had attacked her gas station or something and ruined stuff. So they wanted a restraining order. And this lady, who has a criminal case coming up today, in a civil case or in a restraining order case, said, yeah, all what they said was just true. And the judge was like, oh my, pump the brakes. Do you have a lawyer with you? No. Do you have a lawyer for your criminal case? Yeah. I will now tell you, he would most likely advise you to not talk about any of this, because it can be used against you. Remember, you're under oath. Yeah, but Your Honor, you don't know. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. that Black Eyed Peas song. You have the right, but not the ability. Hey, Luna. Well, it's still a funny name because it sounds like a South Park character getting a Brazilian. Lally must like to prolong the burn. Take that how you want. I don't know if they have been talking because remember the judge told them to work together to try and fix this. Find out what is the discovery they have been missing, what have been transferred to them. So how much she's gonna have to attack him about today, I don't know. But Rosemary is a lovely lady, but she's like a dog with a bone. She's gonna attack you over and over and over and over and over again. And Lally is a little shitty weasel who is one of those guys you see in the cartoons who just come in, puts in his time card, goes to his office, does the same thing every day, and clocks out. And then he goes home and just sits staring at the wall. So he can't handle someone going after him. Dot Indian. She had 2 gas stations. Do the math. Why do you have to do that at night? She failed shut up class. She did shut up. Failed shut up class. 355 documents missing. That's a lot. So all of these productions of evidence, it's a Hail Mary of a motion because they really don't want him. I actually think they want Proctor on the stand first so they can figure out what the hell is he willing to sing about. And Proctor has a big problem. He lost his job. He also has another big problem. If he sings too much, he's not going to get that cushy special security job that he probably was promised to shut up a year down the line. Not that I know any of that. I'm just speculating crazily, has no proof of any of it. But I think Proctor was the sacrificial lamb that was supposed, with the sacrifice of him, everything would calm down. But they didn't figure out that he has had his fingers in so many pies that anything he has touched will be contaminated. So sacrificing Proctor will not fix the problem. It'll just create more problems. And they are afraid at what point is he going to sing? Because now he wants his job back. That's probably a little, you better take notice, friends. I want it back or I'm going to. And now he's going to take the stand tomorrow. We saw how absolutely horrendously Lally was, never answering a question, but just sitting there being kind of wishy-washy about everything. Is Proctor going to do the same, or is he going to spill the beans and say, well, that's how we did it? Adam Lally never asked for anything. Yeah, he probably had an obligation to turn over this evidence. He never asked me to give it to him. So that's why I never gave it to him. I've never heard about Lally demanding evidence. If I had a demand for evidence, I would produce evidence. But Lally never gave it to me. Imagine if Proctor said that. Then Lally have lied on the stand. Could be fun. Lally is paying up for his past 20 years as a lazy ADA. Yeah, shitty ADA. About time Lally took accountability for his shoddy work. Lives are at stake. Well, he won't. That whole country is rancid and putrid. They are. Lally is done as a prosecutor. No, he's not. Lally is the government is the only workplace where you can fail and fail again and always get promoted. Funny enough, the people who most of the time ends in the highest positions are the biggest fuck-ups. Why not? Or why do I say that? Because people who has a shred of integrity have left before that. Dot Indian or Feather Indian. It's because it's from, I can't remember what show, Simpsons or something. Well, it's Massachusetts, baby. It's not. Can't spell cops without corruption. Well, you can. No, you can't. I think I made a good one. Or you can't spell corruption without cops. That's probably better. All Lally knows is the Norfolk DA's office. Yeah, but he knows the Norfolk DA's office. So he knows where everybody is, where all the bodies are buried. He's been there for 20 years. He has snuck around in every corner, and he has enough that he's dangerous to the DA's office. I bet you he has enough. Same as Proctor. Proctor was a lead investigator for a long time in a ton of cases. They know stuff, and that's why they don't want them to talk. Hey, Fuba. Yes. Butters Brazilian wrote a letter to Fanning in regards to Matthew Farwell in the Sandra case. It's about DNA. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of spillover from Rosemary Scapiccio. Was she Jen McCabe's or Kerry Roberts' lawyer in the Karen Reed case? I always loved her, but hey, lawyers have shitty clients. Even though they're great lawyers, they sometimes have shitty clients. I believe the 6 ones will be, he said, since Lally presented to a grand jury that these existed without actually having them. Well, he claimed that they were attached to the material from the grand jury, and that's why he didn't have to turn them over, because they technically had to been turned over, which I don't believe is the correct way to seeing that, because that's not the originals. That's, and again, partial. This is a basic bitch Rule 14 thing. Of course you turn over the search warrants. It's not that hard. Whatever is expected of Lally is how he acts. Yes. Lally is just making the donuts and punching out when Mr. Slade pulls the dino whistle every day. Yeah, but do you know what people who does that for 20 years have? Because Lally couldn't cut it in the real world. Couldn't cut it in the real world. So he just sits there, and he's a nice guy. He'll bring you a coffee. He'll give you a donut, and he'll listen. And he'll listen. And he'll listen. And after 5 years, he has enough dirt that he gets a bump up, because he knows where all the little shenanigans went on. Then he starts to get into a level where he can hang out with Meatball and be friends with him. This is the thing that little gray office mice can do to get power. It's just listen and get all the dirt, and then be friendly with the boss. And I think Lally is one of those. That's why they hired Brennan to not fuck up Lally one more time. I thought at the first, when they brought in Brennan, I actually thought it was to protect Lally so he could run for DA. But then I heard him understand, and he sounds like he has less brains than Plevin. Yeah, it sounds like a place that use an organic coconut oil when they're done. Reddington was Jen McCabe's attorney. But someone had Rosemary. I can't remember who. Yeah, because Reddington, that's right. Because we watched him in the Dr. Turk case right after. I liked him. But she was on someone. He could have been a good attorney if he would actually work, if he put in as much effort into winning cases as he did hiding shears. Well, you don't need to be good at your job because you get paid either way. That's the good thing of being a public worker. The taxpayers pay you anyway. You know how hard it is to get fired as a public worker? Michael Proctor might stand a chance if he can find something in those 216 other cases to prove that other officers did the same, that he could be reinstated on the force. Most likely not. But there's nothing like a government union. They are the strongest. Think the Teamsters had power? Go look at the teachers, the cops, the unions for those people. They have it made. She tried to get her, but she was busy. I really like her. I liked her in the Rentala case as well. Really liked her. She has a tendency to ask the same question a lot of times until the judge get a little annoyed with her, and I think that's not a good thing. But if that's the only thing I have to talk about with her, that's pretty good because I watch a lot of cases and I hate a lot of lawyers. Lally probably knows who killed John O'Keefe. No, no one would tell him. I'll take Rosemary. I would too. Rosemary gave her Yanetti's name. Oh, interesting. But I just thought because we talked about it, Jamie and I, that it could have been amazing if it was Rosemary, and someone brought up that some of the witnesses have had her or was having her on as an attorney. So, Aiden also tried to get her. Apparently, she came out of nothing. She grew up poor, and then just became this firebrand of a defense attorney. I really like her style, her porcupine hair, and she's just one of those personalities that's just bigger than anything else. I instantly loved her when we saw her in the Rosemary, not Rosemary, in the Karen Thaler case. I think I just love a good asshole, and I liked it when a lawyer punches people in the face. Aiden also, Turtle Boy has good representation. He has great representation, but you can always, because you know the name, think, "Oh, I want that one." Proctor's sister text about the bribe from Julie Albert is way more egregious than most things for framing Karen, planting taillight, and withholding video of Hickey Bear. Well, she doesn't talk about a bribe for any of those things. She just says you should have a little something for this, for all your hard work. There's no paper trail saying, hey, do this and you'll get that. She just said, oh, you should have a little special reward because of all you're doing. And she could say, well, I was just really appreciative of him and I wanted to do something nice, give him 2 bottles of wine. And because he was so great talking to us, he really calmed us down and he was a nice guy. And we just needed that. There's nothing in there saying, hey, can you make Hickey go away? So how can you prove corruption? That's the big problem. We can all infer what the money or the gifts or whatever are for, but you have to prove it in the court of law. That's the problem. They grew up in public housing with a single mom. Education was their mom's top priority, and it shows. Yeah, and she got the best out of her education. Can I sleep? Well, I do these late at night shows now and again just to do a more relaxed kind of thing. So I do an hour of nothingness or somethingness, try to communicate a little more with chat, get into arguments with them about nothing, and just shoot the shit. That's my Baker at Night shows. Not regular because it depends on when I wake up. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and read the Lally Motion, so I went live. Keep those fingers out. Yeah, about an hour. Yeah. He knew it was wrong by him saying, give it to my wife instead, and it stacks up on the scale of violations piled up. Yes, but again, can they prove something was transferred? Can they prove why it was transferred? I think Proctor is a shitbag, and I think he should never get his job back. I actually think that a lot of the police officers in this case should all have been fired. A lot of the DA should have been fired. The only problem is you have to go by the rules. And by the rules, him saying, yeah, give it to Courtney. It's probably in the gray zone about what can you do. And if nothing physically or monetarily was exchanged, then it's attempted corruption, maybe. Is he a dirtbag? Yeah. But I'm just trying to temper the mood a little bit because, again, I could do the... Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Proctor, done so. He's going down. We had a public hearing yesterday, and it's clear to the world he is done. The corruption with Courtney, bam, going down for that. Lying on the stand, booyah, going down. Everyone, you have to watch this channel. Like, subscribe, do all the things, because only on this channel will I tell you the truth. Proctor will never, ever step a foot inside a police station again, unless it's in handcuff for all the crimes he committed in the Karen Reed case. Karen Reed is gonna make bank. Woo, baby! And I'm here for it. Join me tomorrow at 9, where there will be more like this. The only channel that tells you the truth. But that's not my style, because I want to be a little more upfront. I'm a bad grifter. I know it. My mods tell me all the time. But I will be here tomorrow at 9, because tomorrow at 9 we will be covering Rosemary Scapiccio questioning Lally and Proctor if Lally doesn't win his motion to limit her scope of testimony. I will also start looking at the case from Georgia, where a man maybe unalived his wife because he owed her 1.5 million in a divorce settlement, dismembered her, dropped her all over the place, and then went on the wrong run because he was controlled by someone that they can't name, they can't tell you who it is. But that's the next case that I'm gonna look at. And I was supposed, well, I wasn't supposed to, but I was wanting to send you all over to Rungle, but he ended his show 5 minutes ago. So I'm gonna send you all to my video for tomorrow, so you can put the bell on and get to be here. 10 to 9, it'll be fine. Well, for the Yanks, it's today for the people in the real world. Come back in 9 hours. Get some sleep. 9 hours. We'll go again. Hopefully, the judge will kick Lally in the face and said, "You just answer questions, you little B word." And Proctor, let you wither under the sun of Rosemary Scapiccio. Love y'all. See y'all.